Welcome back. So, two things really quick to address before we get into this week's episode. No, I don't have cancer, okay? I just happened to have a beanie on today because my hair wasn't cooperating, and I had to shave my face because I am going into a medical field profession, and the specific medical field profession I'm going into, you cannot have facial hair. So,
well, you look much younger now. So.
I look my age, so I'm all good. Don't worry. I sent a picture to a buddy today, and he was like, "Bro, are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine." But yeah, and then second thing is, so we're gonna do a shorter episode this week. We're having to pull double duty this week. Scott had to go out of town last week when we would normally film for some family stuff. So we're pulling double duty this week. So we're going to do a little bit of a shorter one this week, and then the following will be a bit of a more lengthy one. So why don't you go ahead and open us up into what we're talking about first?
Well, yeah. So we have not really mentioned this topic a bunch on this channel, even though we've worn paraphernalia for it. But we're actually really big fans of Invincible. Mm-hmm. And since Invincible Season 2 ended, I think it was roughly a week ago, we figured we would kind of go over our thoughts for the first and second season of Invincible and kind of what we would like to see going forward into seasons 3 and beyond. So, why don't we go ahead and get your thoughts on it? So, just kind of start with season 1. Kind of what are your overall thoughts? What were your...
I mean, yeah, like season 1 was great. Got me hooked. I was always the guy that was never super into... Like, with the exception of Spawn, I was never really into other comic book material that wasn't Marvel and DC.
Right.
And had never heard of Invincible, obviously, because the comics have been out. Never heard of Invincible, didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. But watched it, loved it. This came out, oh man, because the first season came out, what was it?
Like 20, was it 20 or 21?
I think it might have been 2019.
Was it?
2020?
No, because the pandemic was... Oh, wait, I watched it a year later. So, yeah, maybe it was 19.
So, yeah, it was... Anyway, it was one of those shows that, like, woke up, watched an episode while I got ready for work, went to work, came back home. Like, I burned through the show in, like, a day and a half. Like, that. Like, that's how hooked on it I was. Obviously, the end of the show, or the end of the first season was... I think you could say it's arguably one of the... in today's standards, one of the biggest moments in pop culture.
Oh yeah.
Of the memes, the references to the the infight with him and his dad, and I think the first season, if I'm being honest, I think the first season was better than the second season.
That was what I had put. I think overall season 1 is probably better. I do think that season 2 has a lot of really good moments, though.
It might have better highs, but in terms of consistency,
yes.
I thought the first season was great. Especially, it felt so like I wouldn't have changed anything. Mm-hmm. Like it was just done so well.
Right.
I don't really have much to say else about season 1 because it's like hot right now. So like I don't want somebody's like about to go back and start it for the first time. Like
Right. We don't want to. Well, I guess we already spoiled it. But.
Well, yeah, but like that, everybody knows that he fights his dead. Like
yeah,
that's
like
pretty common knowledge
I didn't watch
point.
it until about a year after it came out, so I kind of knew. I knew about that scene.
Yeah.
So I knew that's where it was leading up to. But I remember I actually watched it. I went on vacation over like the summer in 2020 or 21, I can't remember. And like I watched it like every day while I was on that vacation. And I was like, dang, this is a really good show. Why didn't I watch this?
Because I had been telling him for like, I was like, dude, you got to watch Invincible. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get around to it.
Yeah.
He finally watched it.
Well, it was funny because the place I was staying, they just happened to still have their Prime account open. And I was like,
oh okay, yeah.
There you go. Let me watch Invincible. But yeah, like I said earlier, I think season 1 overall, I think is a much better season than season 2. Mm-hmm. The consistency between episodes. Also, I think season 1 has a leg up on season 2 because I think with season 2, you have to remember so much. And like season 2, you'll start an episode
it's more fresh.
And it's a plot thread from last season. And you're like, oh wait, I completely forgot we were doing this. And even like in season 2, they forgot about some plot threads that all of us really wanted to see that, I did hear that they're going to pick up in season 3. But I do think that season 2 to me, with minor exceptions, felt very much just like the entire thing was like setting up something.
It felt like filler. It felt like I watched an entire season of filler.
And like there were some really good moments, like when he fights the portal guy, and he goes to
Yeah.
the other planet, and like that whole scene was really good. There were some others I can't really think of off the top of my head. That
I mean, there
really
was
liked.
good. I mean, you know, the stuff with the Guardians of the Globe was really good in season 2.
Oh yeah, the fight.
Yeah, well, I just if I'm being honest with you, I think the Guardians of the Globe were what made season 2 as good as it was.
Yeah,
Because like a lot of Mark in season 2 is like kind of just. It felt very much so like, just for an example, it felt like it was his Peter Parker arc. Where like he is invincible and he does invincible things, but like we dealt much more with Mark. And not that that's not good or that it's not interesting. It was just very like I said, it was a lot of filler. And it was just a lot of like, okay, all right, we're still feeling the effects. That was one thing that I didn't love, was I felt like they went with the feeling the effects of Omni-Man a little bit too long. Where it was just like, all right, but let's, we got it. Like,
right.
Let's get to the next stuff though. Let's go. Yeah. With the exception of Mark's mom, right? Obviously, and then
when
Mark's
you're married
got
to someone for 20 plus
that,
years,
and then when Mark brings back his brother and you know everything else. So, which that being said, in season 2, that stuff was great when Mark and Nolan are on the other planet with Nolan's new family. That stuff's great. But, for me, I just felt like it was kind of filler with the exception of the last episode where Mark goes kind of berserker. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of it was just very, like... I got the vibe as we're watching it on our couch, every week. We're like, all right, well, I guess we're going to see next week. It just felt like that. Right.
And, I think because one of the things I have on here is I feel like Omni-Man is probably the best part of that show. Like, I don't really think that's super controversial.
Oh, hands down.
So, yeah. And we both have little Lego figures of him we bought at a comic shop. But anyway, I think that season 2 suffered a little bit because not that we didn't get to see Omni-Man because he definitely had his time to shine during the season, but I don't think we got to see him enough. And because you have the whole thing with what's the orange alien's name? The Cyclops. Alan, is that his name? Alan, yeah. So like we keep getting this lead up, and Alan keeps alluding to like getting this group together and they're going to fight against the Empire. And I'm like, we're waiting for that to happen, and it just doesn't happen. Which, like, I guess could be a good thing in theory, because they could just be like, that'll be the 3rd season.
Which, like, let's say that if season 3 is just insane, then it's like, all right, the setup for season 2 is worth it. It's just coming off it being fresh, just being like, there's a lot of filler. I mean, glad to finally see Mark's, making his way over to Amber.
Yes. I could not stand...
Or wait, did I mix that up?
Yeah, Amber was the old girlfriend. Eve is the new one.
Eve, not Amber.
I could not stand Amber in the first season. She was a lot better...
Tolerable in the
second season, and I could empathize with her a little bit, but still she was like...
Just wasn't a fan of her.
Yeah, she was just...
Just wasn't a fan of her.
To me, she felt like okay, we got to do this to build character.
Well, my biggest issue with her as a character was the fact that, like, she was like... did the whole Mary Jane thing where she's like, I still want to be with you even though you're a superhero. And then, like, when Mark has to be a superhero, she's like, I just don't. It's like, you signed up for this. This is what you wanted to do. Like, you knew what his life was. Why did you even do that in the first place?
Yeah. I think Eve to me is she's a lot more likable just as a character. And 2, I think that you're mixing me up. Eve and Invincible can kind of bond over the fact that they're both superheroes. They both have, traumatic pasts and having to deal with parents.
It's just more compelling.
Powers, and it's just, I think they'll be a much better couple, and I think that I don't know if they're going to completely write off Amber. I have absolutely no clue how that's going to work. But, moving forward, I think it would be better for Mark's character. And I do know that that's in the books. That's how they end up anyway, and I think they have children at some point. But yes, in season 3, we need more Omni-Man, more Viltrumite Empire. We need what's the lady's name that came to Earth that like...
Oh, the Viltrumite?
Yeah.
I can't remember her
name. Who looks like Supergirl from The Flash? Yeah. Yeah, we need more of that. I have no idea what his name is, and
she does look like Supergirl from The Flash.
Yeah, she does. She does. Like when I saw those, is that?
She does. I just thought about that.
Yeah. And but we have there's I don't know his name because I didn't read the comics, but there's do you know that old guy who's got the really thick white mustache and like the horseshoe haircut, and he's like just a Beast. Have you seen pictures of that guy?
Oh yeah, the like he's like a juggernaut.
Yeah,
Viltrumite.
I think he's supposed to be like the leader of some kind, and like he comes to Earth, and Mark and his dad have to fight him, which like I would really like to see that.
We just want to see more Viltrumites.
Yeah,
man.
we need more Viltrumites.
I don't, as much as I love seeing Mark in his life, that's not why I'm watching Invincible. Right. I'm watching Invincible to see him be invincible and deal with his dad. It, like, for me, just to wrap it up so we don't ramble too long, the bullet points I hit were, for me, season 3, I want to see Mark quit holding back.
Yes.
Like, now granted, obviously the season 2 finale, we see him
I think that was kind of like a little snippet where it's like he's about to maybe do that.
That was a common theme throughout season 2, and it's just like, dude, I get it. You don't want to be like your dad, but also you have the capabilities of Superman. Like, use them. Also, I want to see Omni-Man, but not just as a prisoner. Like that. Like, I feel like with the exception of the 2-episode arc where they're on that other planet, the rest of the time we see Omni-Man is for 2 to 3 minutes, and he's in a cell or he's being interrogated. Yeah. And it was just like we probably could have done more with that. Yeah. At least to me. But yeah, other than that, I'm just excited. Like I said, we haven't read the books. Yeah. We're very casual fans of Invincible. But both very excited for season 3. Yes. And it's just like, I just want to see. That's the example, right? Is because we're not the diehard Invincible fans. We casually enjoy the show and enjoy the lore. It's like we're not watching the show to see Amber and Mark and Eve. Like, I want to see Mark and Eve, but like even on that, like I don't like. I want to see Mark go doing Invincible stuff. Right. I want to see the Guardians of the Globe more, which that's why I just said for me, Guardians of the Globe were the MVP of this season 2. Yeah. So yeah, just I want to see superhero stuff, man. Like, go be superheroes. Like, I don't want to see your Peter Parker arc for an entire season. Like, give me superhero stuff. That's my only thing for season 3 that I really need.
Yeah, I think that's a good list. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we're going to go straight into Read of the Week.
Okay, so this week's Read of the Week. Wow, stumbled on my words there. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Obviously, everyone knows what this is. Everyone's seen the movie. It is the best movie in the MCU, my opinion.
Clip it.
Yeah, so it's a great book, guys. It's a phenomenal book. It's very, I don't want to say it's very different. It's different than the movie, right? The movie had to do its own thing with the way the Russo brothers made it. This, you get to see a different Captain America. This is a little bit, he's kind of, not aging, but he's not a young, spry, youthful, joyful Captain America Steve Rogers anymore. He's grown a little bit bitter.
Seasoned.
Little seasoned. He's maybe a little bit more violent at times than he needs to be. Okay. He's got a little bit more, I don't want to say angst because that sounds like teenage, but like he's just a little bit more like vicious and visceral. Doesn't love cooperating with S.H.I.E.L.D. as much as he used to. Just kind of like a very Batman-esque Captain America in terms of personality, which is great to see, right?
What else could you want?
Also, if you like The Winter Soldier and you haven't actually read the source material, pick this up. The Winter Soldier in this is nuts. He's nuts. This is one of those stories where when you're reading it, you really have that, like, hold your breath as, like, the villain's doing what the villain's doing. Yeah. There's some stuff with Red Skull in this at the very beginning, which is really good. It's cool to see Red Skull again. Obviously we don't get to see him past the first Captain America movie, so you get to see his tie-in and how he belongs in the story.
Cameo.
The cameo in was it Endgame or Infinity War?
It was in Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War. And so, you get a bunch of good stuff with Bucky Barnes. Also, you get more of the Bucky Barnes backstory in this. So it's not where it was in the MCU where it's, not that it wasn't done well, it was done well, but just kind of they have to keep it short. Right. You get to go in depth with this. They really go into what made Bucky, what he went through, what was happening at the time, where he's been, what he's been doing. Falcon's great in this. I've never been a big Falcon guy, but Falcon's really cool in this. I don't want to go into too much of it because of how different it is than the movie. If I go into it, I'll ruin it. But yeah, it's great. It's a really good read. I would also say they do a great job in this of story beats. So like, I I read every night before I go to bed, and I like to keep it. I don't want to read too long because I don't want to burn through my books too fast. So I like to keep this. I couldn't do that just because of the way that they formatted this and the way that they go from issue to issue, arc to arc. It's like, oh crap! Well, I got to know what happens now. Like,
can't go to bed on a cliffhanger.
No, it's not slow. It doesn't drag. It's not super thick. It uses its pages and its dialogue to precision. And if you're a big Captain America fan, like I used to be, I was an OG Cap fan like before the first Avenger ever came out. Like there's a picture of me at Halloween. I think I'm with him, and I'm in my Captain America suit. But like it's not MCU. It's like the baby blue, big wings. Like so, like I've always been a Cap guy, and it's cool to see a Captain America that's just different than the traditional takes we see of him. Mm-hmm. And as big of a Winter Soldier fan as I am, it's cool to see the Winter Soldier, the origin of the Winter Soldier, and really get to like dive into it and sink your teeth into it, and not just watch it play out in the movie. So, if you're a Cap fan, if you're wanting something different, I would also say if you're a DC guy, this is definitely a very Marvel DC story in terms of tone and the way it's written. Like if you don't like Marvel because sometimes it feels very lighthearted and just not as dark as DC. Like, that's not an opinion. That's just kind of the way it is. This is one you should pick up as a DC guy. You'll really enjoy this. So, the biggest compliment I can say to this book, it feels like it was written by Todd McFarlane in '92.
Ooh, okay.
Like if Todd, obviously he didn't, but like if Todd McFarlane got a hold of Captain America and they were like, hey, make the Winter Soldier, that's what this feels like. So pick this one up. Give yourself the treat of reading this, and that is this week's Read of the Week.
All right, so for our final segment, we're going to try something a little new. We may have done something similar in the past, but we're going to go ahead and try that out. It's called This or That. So basically, we each have 5 questions, and we chose, it could be literally anything. It could be video games, it could be superheroes, it could be comics, TV shows, movies, whatever it is. So we're going to kind of go through our list. We'll choose whether we want this or that, and then we're going to talk about it. Yep. So I'll go ahead and let you go first on your list. What is your first this or that?
This or that. Spider-Man 3 or the first Amazing Spider-Man?
Ooh, okay.
If you watch the channel, you know my answer, but this is also a question for Scott.
If you had asked me this question about 4 years ago, I would have said The Amazing Spider-Man. But because I never actually watched Spider-Man 3 until I was like a senior in high school.
Like actually sat down and watched it?
Yeah, I had seen like clips of it, but like for the longest time I wasn't allowed to watch it because like Spider-Man turns bad, and then I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
So, but I actually, when I watched the movie for the first time, I'm 16, 17, whatever it was, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, why do people hate this movie so much? I'm like, it's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. I'll admit that, but I know it's yours. Yeah. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, there's some problems with the movie. I think sometimes the villains get a little too in the way, and like, you say what you want about the cringy Peter Parker stuff. I think some of it's actually pretty funny. But
it's just so Sam Raimi. Yeah. It's like you have to be a fan of the director to appreciate what it is.
Right. But I do think that in Spider-Man 3, there's a lot of really good moments that you get in that movie that I feel like get glossed over a lot because of the surface level problems that the movie has.
It's such a poetically beautiful closing to the trilogy.
Yes. Like, I think we've talked about it before, but like one of our favorite things about Spider-Man 3 is that the first 2 Spider-Man movies end with him in a heroic swing across New York City, and he's being all cool in Spider-Man or whatever. But like this movie ends with like Peter Parker shows up to the bar that Mary Jane's singing in, and like they just slow dance, and you can tell that they're both remorseful of how they acted, and going forward they love each other, but they're gonna have to work on their relationship.
The trilogy ends with him not being a hero. It ends with him being a human.
Yes.
And having to deal with, which that's the lesson through the whole trilogy, right? Is with great powers come great responsibility.
Exactly.
But like Sam Raimi actually took that seriously. And so I'm not even joking, aside from Spider-Man, it might be in like one of my top 3 or 5 favorite movie endings ever. That he just, it's so just, there's no words spoken. There's no sorry, I love you, none of that. It's just, I'm here, you're here. It is what it is. Let's dance.
Yeah.
And it just pans out. It's beautiful to me. So yeah, obviously my answer is Spider-Man 3. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. But yeah, why don't we go into your first one?
All right, this one was geared more towards you because I very much know my answer. So,
Okay.
God of War or the Arkham series.
Oh man, dude.
I knew that was a good one. So you have to pick. So like if you could only play one or the other, and you never got to play the other
Oh
one
my
again.
gosh. They're literally my 2 favorite gaming franchises of all time.
That's why I chose it. I would just really quickly. I would obviously pick the Arkham series.
Yeah.
I really like the first God of War. Don't get me wrong, but like, I still have more love for the Arkham series.
Yeah.
So that'd be my answer.
Yeah, I gotta go Arkham, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Batman's my favorite character in fiction. As much as I love Kratos and God of War, if I couldn't play the Arkham series, yeah.
would be
Unfortunately, I have to. You're making me pick my children here, man.
Yeah.
I gotta go the Arkham
For the
series.
nostalgia alone, I feel like
I was gonna say, yeah, like even more than that, just from obviously, like, if I want a gaming experience, like I'd pick Ragnarok.
Right.
But like, just in terms of the nostalgia, like where those games take me back, especially Asylum.
Yeah.
But just what those games meant to me, what they still do, and just how. Because that is one thing I will say. God of War is not super replayable, only because of how in depth of a game it is. Like you can play God of War every 2 years. Like the Arkham games you can play every 6 months and still love playing them.
Right.
So yeah, I'd go with the Arkham series.
Well, yeah, that was the thing because I finished the first game a couple of months ago, and I remember I told you where I was at, and you're like, "Oh, you got like 2 hours left." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just finish it."
Yeah.
And it was like another 6.5 hours before
Yeah.
I finished the game. And funny enough, I spent about an hour and a half of that fighting a Valkyrie, and I didn't know it.
Oh my gosh. So he didn't realize how to read the map in the first God of War.
Yeah.
And so I've come to see what he's doing. He's fighting the first Valkyrie side mission, which if you're trying to fight the first Valkyrie without beating the game and getting all your upgrades, it's almost impossible. And I was like, what are you doing?
I almost beat her one time, though. I almost did.
You almost beat her.
I got her down to like a bar and a half.
Well, so he's like, and so I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm playing the story. I'm like, no, you're not. And what, you did that for an hour or something?
Like an hour and a half.
Just fighting this Valkyrie.
And what was stupid, too, is because you were going up the elevator, and all I had to do was click it one more time, and it would have gone up
go up the other way.
To the story, but I didn't realize that. So, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your next
So my
one?
second is this or that.
Okay.
The canceled single player story Mandalorian game
Okay.
or Battlefront 3.
Oh, okay. Ooh. That's hard. I want to say Battlefront 3, but the only reason I might not say that is because EA's in charge of it, and I don't know if it would have been... Because, like, that was the thing, right, whenever the old Battlefront games got re-released, which we still haven't gotten around to that. But
They crashed.
yeah, they crashed, and they're having server problems and all of that. But, like, I go back and look at the old Battlefront games, which I never really played as a kid, but I'm like, you got Mace Windu and Kate Fisto
Qui-Gon.
and Qui-Gon Jinn and all of that.
Jango.
And, like, yeah, and then, like, in the new ones, you've got, like, BB-8. And it's like, the graphics look great, the gameplay's really good in the new ones, but it's like, it's almost like whenever they launched Battlefront 2, they gave you just enough to make the game somewhat playable, and then they realized that no one wanted that, so then they got it up to where everyone... Because I remember there was a period in like 2019 where everyone was playing Battlefront 2 because they added Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Count Dooku and General Grievous and like a whole bunch of Clone Wars stuff.
They gave Maul a block finally.
They upgraded Maul and like the whole 9 yards, right? And so everyone loved it, and then they're like, okay, we're done. Like, we're not doing any more updates. It's like, well, what the game ended on is what the game should have started on.
And then you add
you add Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, Kate Fisto, Asajj Ventress, Ahsoka, like all those other people.
Ventress would have been cool.
Yeah, and like even like we still play it every now and then. Yeah, and like you'll be doing Hero Showdown, and it's like, well, I guess I'm using Chewbacca because I'm out of lightsaber heroes
I'm nasty with Princess Leia, unfortunately.
Yes,
but
he's got the New Hope skin.
yeah, I've got the legendary skin.
So, very long way to answer your question. I would probably go with the Mandalorian game.
Okay, so for me, I'd go Battlefront 3. I would go Battlefront 3.
Okay.
So as someone that grew up on the OG Battlefronts, I love them. And I love Battlefront 2. Like he said, once they finally patched and updated and released all, it's an amazing game. Like there was a point in time where he and I were playing Battlefront.
That was the only thing we played.
That was the only thing we played. And so for me, I'm giving EA the benefit of the doubt and thinking, okay, your game sucked for 2 years. And everyone finally started liking it, so learn from your mistakes and make a good Battlefront 3. Also because it was already in the works and it got canceled.
Right.
So yeah, for me, I go Battlefront 3.
I think if I knew the game was going to be closer to the older games, I might pick that. But I understand you're giving the bit of a doubt. I don't, because I know EA.
I mean, because the Mando game would be nuts.
Yeah, because it wasn't going to be by EA, was it?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so it would have been a completely different. Like we could have gotten like a Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's a Mandalorian. Like that would have been. That would have
been sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So going on to my second one, we have Zack Snyder or Scott Snyder.
Oh crap. Scott Snyder, easy.
Yeah.
He invented the Court of Owls. That's easy.
I just thought it was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because they had the same last name. I picked Scott Snyder too because of the Court of Owls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even just the Court of Owls, just his entire run in the New 52. Just Scott Snyder.
Exactly.
I don't even think we need to discuss that.
Yeah.
One.
I mean, we got so much like new classics from him.
Yeah. Like he revived
years.
Batman.
Yeah.
Like easily Scott Snyder.
All right.
Okay. Batman Beyond or Superman the Animated Series?
Ooh, okay.
Little DCAU action.
Okay, that's hard.
It's very hard. Because it's like the two, that's always 3 and 4 when people make their lists.
Yeah.
It's always, because it's like Batman and then Justice League and then Beyond and Superman are like that.
Yeah, because like for me it's Batman,
Justice
League, and then
they're interchangeable.
Yeah, I could honestly go either way on that. I'm trying to think because like I'm trying to think of the best episodes and like which ones I would rather have versus the other one.
Right. If you can only go back and rewatch one.
Yeah. Do the movies count?
No, just the shows.
Okay, I'm gonna do Superman the Animated Series because of the stuff with Darkseid at the very end.
Yep.
Because then my favorite Batman the Animated Series thing is the Return of the Joker movie. So I could still have that.
Oh, you mean Beyond?
Yeah. So I could still have that and watch that, but then still have my Superman with Superman the Animated Series. I think that would be my answer.
Yeah, Superman's for me as well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, that might come as a surprise.
Yeah, really. I would have thought you would have chosen.
Yeah, so the reason I picked Superman is, to me, that's Superman. Like, that is when I think of Superman the Animated Series. Like you said, Darkseid's my second favorite villain aside from Joker. So, like, I get to see Darkseid be Darkseid multiple times.
Right.
Even just not, and like the late Mr. Kent episode, there's just, I felt like what they did for Batman. I also feel like Superman the Animated Series gets unsung a lot because it was right after Batman.
Right.
And so.
And also it bled right into Justice League.
It bled right into Justice League. And so it's what they did for Batman the Animated Series and creating that world. They did the same thing for Superman. I mean, Lois Lane. Like, the Lois Lane in that show is amazing. Jimmy, Perry White, the Metropolis as a whole. Also, in Superman the Animated Series, we get the world's finest.
Yes.
And I don't know if I could not ever watch the World's Finest.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, World's Finest. So
I forgot it originally aired on that show.
Yeah, it was Superman. So for me, Superman the Animated Series.
I mean, for that reason alone, you have
you got to go World's Finest. Between World's Finest and Apocalypse, like you got to. As much as I love Terry, you got to go that. Because like you said, movies don't count, so you still got Return of the Joker.
Right.
So get your Batman Beyond pick. So yeah.
All right. So for my third one, Teen Titans or X-Men?
Oh.
We're making them tough today. I'm going to let you answer first. Because I think everyone knows my answer. So would you rather... Obviously, this is not who would win in a fight. That's a completely different argument. Who would you rather, like, if you couldn't have the other one?
Are you talking about, like, the teams in lore or the shows?
All of it.
Oh, man, dude.
So the shows, the comics, we don't really have any. We have the X-Men.
I mean, I got to go Teen Titans. With as much as I love Deathstroke, I got to go Teen Titans.
Really? I would have thought you picked X-Men.
If you said the shows, I would have picked X-Men. But if we're going everything that's ever happened, the lore of X-Men, the lore of Teen Titans, I got to go Titans.
Yeah, Titans is my answer too.
I mean, just with the stuff like just the history of Deathstroke. I mean, it's where we see Nightwing. It's where Robin becomes Nightwing.
Yeah.
Even a lot of just from also because as much as I love X-Men, I dabble way more in Teen Titans lore just between the animated movies, the shows. I was a big fan of the live action Titan show that came out a couple years back.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a really hard one. Man, you gave me the Arkham series, God of War, Titans, and X-Men. So yeah, unfortunately I gotta.
If only this was a competition for how hard the questions could be.
Right. So yeah, for me, I gotta let go of my other child in X-Men and go with Titans.
I'm making you pick children today.
Yeah, you're making me pick children, so I gotta go. Because my other thing is, if Wolverine wasn't in the X-Men, that'd be an easy pick, and I can still get Wolverine on his standalone outside of the X-Men. So, yeah, okay, all right. So my number 4, this or that. This is his pick between his kids right here.
Okay.
Season 3 of the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Or a continuation of the Clone Wars into the original trilogy.
Ooh. So wait, would it be a show in between Episode 3 and Episode 4, or like how would that work?
So it would be, pretty. But like it would be that, but it would also be like while New Hope's going on, while Empire Strikes Back, it could be stuff like that wasn't going on in the movie, just like in the original trilogy, just going on in that era.
So a Clone Wars style show in the original trilogy era is what you're saying?
Yes, made by the same people, the whole thing.
Man, that's a tough one. Okay. Which episodes would you... Like, could I choose which episodes I get to put it between?
What do you mean?
So, like, if I wanted to be between 4 and 5, or 5 and 6...
No, that's what I'm telling you, bro. Like, it's between 4 through 6. Like, the entire era.
Okay. Oh, man. I'd have to go with the Star Wars one. I would have to, because as much as I would want to see a Spectacular Spider-Man 3... Because of the fact that the Clone Wars animation studio is officially closing after Bad Batch Season 3 ends, that I feel like would be a renaissance, so to speak, of that. And like just like being able to see like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Darth Vader and like that animation style with the same creative mind with Dave Filoni behind it. Like, dude, I don't think I would need anything else.
That'd be it.
Even though that is a very tough choice. Yeah, that is a very tough choice.
So for me, I'm picking Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I love the Spectacular Spider-Man show, but I'm a 90s baby, so like 90s animated Spider-Man for me is the way to go. And the Clone Wars is what got me to fall in love with Star Wars. So seeing that and seeing like Rex in the original, like seeing the continuation of Rex.
Ooh, that would be because he like.
We also would get to see what Ahsoka's been doing while she's not in the main.
Yeah.
There's so much potential in that.
Oh yeah, because Rex got retconned into
exactly.
So like we can see what he does up until then. That's
exactly,
cool.
And it would almost be like a continuation of Rebels as well.
Yeah.
So you get continuation of Rebels. So yeah, for me, it'd be that as well.
I like that. Okay, so this one's a little bit more general.
Okay.
It's more of a general idea. Would you rather have super strength or invulnerability? So either you're super strong like Superman, or you can't be killed. Not like Deadpool, you just like nothing can hurt you.
Super strength.
Really?
Yeah, super strength. I've got the strength of Superman, yeah.
Yeah, but like if you, I would have picked invulnerability.
No, because like my thing is like...
But I could still shoot you with a gun and you're dead.
Yeah, but okay, couple things. Number one, I don't know how often in life I'm going to be in a situation where that's occurring. Number two, I do want to die and go see my family and the Lord. So, like, I don't want to be alive forever.
You can die of natural causes. I'm saying, like, if someone took a rocket launcher and aimed it at your face, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, no, still super strength. Because then, like, also, like, your wife and your kids, like, when, like, your kids say, my dad, like, you are the strongest dad and husband.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a flex. Yeah, dude, super strength. Easy for me. So you go invulnerability?
I would go invulnerability. Because, like, can you imagine just, like, if you become a superhero and the heartbreak somebody has, that they swing a sword at your neck and it just snaps in half.
I mean, yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. But then the thing you're not thinking of is you just have invulnerability. So then you'd have to develop some other kind of skill.
Well, yeah, like that would be, like you can train like Batman.
I guess that's true.
You become Batman, but
you're invulnerable. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. But yeah, I go super strength. My final: the Batman or the Dark Knight.
Oh man. Oh man, I don't know. That's a hard one. Because then, like, because then you couldn't get like Heath Ledger's Joker and like. which really he's the one that absolutely carries that movie. And there's all the stuff with Two-Face and Dent, and oh man, I feel like as much as it hurts to pain, like it pains me to say, I might have to go with the Batman.
I also go with the Batman.
Yeah.
As The Dark Knight's one of the best films of all time.
Yes.
But the Batman is a better Batman.
It feels film. Like a more true adaptation of Batman.
It's Batman. When I saw the Batman in theaters, I walked out thinking, that's what I've waited my life. That was it.
For 22 years. That's what
that was it. Yeah. That someone finally understands Batman and made the film. Mm-hmm. For me, it's the Batman. Yeah. It's as much as I love Ledger and Eckhart's portrayals of Dent and Joker, and as great as Bale and Gordon is in it. For me, I gotta go with
Gary
Batman.
Oldman did a great job.
Gary Oldman's great. Yeah, I gotta go the Batman. So, okay.
We're gonna get some hate for that, but we'll see. Okay, for my last one, this one's I think might be a little easy, but we'll see. Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Homecoming.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I figured.
I cannot stand the Tom Holland movies, so yeah.
Well, I picked. I couldn't pick No Way Home because then it's got Toby in it.
Right, then you got to pick No Way Home.
But I didn't want to pick Far From Home because
it's terrible.
Obviously, in our opinion, this is the worst Spider-Man movie of all time. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Far From Home is the worst Spider-Man movie of all time.
Because I remember we went to watch it together in the theaters.
Yeah.
And I remember walking out and we were both like, "Did we even watch a Spider-Man movie?" That did not feel like we watched
it felt like a student film.
Formulated MCU garbage is what we felt like we just watched.
It was so bad.
And
Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was great.
Yeah, he did a great job. But other than that, everything just kind of sucked. And there wasn't any cool because that was the thing about Homecoming. I actually, when Homecoming came out, I really enjoyed Homecoming.
I know you liked Homecoming.
Yeah, and then because I was thinking that was going to be a springboard off because we literally got the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He was in the suburbs, whatever.
We got Keaton as Vulture.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. And I think it's of the three, obviously other than, because No Way Home doesn't really count because it's got the other two Spider-Man in it. Mm-hmm. Of the two, it's definitely the better Spider-Man movie. And I thought it was going to be a jumping off point to where you get the New York Spider-Man final swing through Manhattan kind of thing. And we never got that. We went to, Italy? Did they go to Italy?
I thought it was France. Maybe France it was Italy. It was one of the two.
It was so forgettable we don't even know.
Well, so, my thing with that was also that was the continuation of him getting 3 suits a movie.
Yes.
And it was just dude.
That Night Monkey suit looks gross.
Well, and it's just this. It's just not Spider-Man. It's just not Spider-Man. It is Iron Boy Jr. It's just. So yeah. Also, I think Zendaya as MJ. That's her worst portrayal.
Oh.
Of the 3, she's pretty good in Far From Home. She has a good setup in Homecoming, and Far From. She was annoying.
She was just in the background.
I don't like.
Honestly, I was looking more forward to Liz being the main love interest. I was like, that. Yeah. I mean, given she didn't have a whole lot of character because she was more of a. That's what I want to get to, but I was if you were to develop that, because we've already gotten Mary Jane, we got Gwen Stacy with the Amazing movies. It's give us
cool
a different love interest besides some knockoff version of Mary Jane, who's not really Mary Jane. She's Michelle Jones, but it doesn't make any sense. But
before he closes it out, I have a bonus one.
Okay.
I had this after it was outside of the 5, but I couldn't leave it off.
All right.
This or that. The rumored Michael Keaton Batman Beyond movie.
Okay.
Or Batfleck's Asylum movie.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's tough
hard.
So either I get to see Michael Keaton as old Batman plus Terry McGinnis, or
Deathstroke and Batman fighting in.
Oh, dude, you should have left it off the list. That's too hard. I mean, shoot. What would you? I don't know yet. What would yours be?
For me, I'd pick the Batfleck movie. Not
really.
Yes, only because, despite the faults, I loved Ben Affleck's Batman, and I just said earlier how much I love Deathstroke. So the idea of getting Joe Magalo, however you say his last name, as Deathstroke, mentally tormenting Batman. And it's in Arkham Asylum, so it's basically Arkham Asylum. The game is a movie
with Deathstroke in it.
With Deathstroke as the main antagonist.
Well, one thing I just thought about, and this might be why I might agree with you, is not that I don't want to see Michael Keaton's Batman, because I think that's like everyone's like nerd out moment when you see Michael Keaton back on the screen. But we already got it with the Flash.
We got a kind of a taste of it.
We got a taste of it, and as cool as it would be to see him again, and get like a Terry McGinnis, like seeing Batfleck, because like I mean the warehouse fight from Batman versus Superman.
Do you remember when the thing came out of the? It was like the storyboard of one of the Batfleck and Deathstroke fights.
Oh yeah, and they're fighting like downtown.
And it looked so good.
Yes.
It looked so good, and that was just the storyboard of it. So yeah, for me, hard as that is,
I think the best Batman like on-screen portrayal of him like as an actual world fighter of some kind, it is Batfleck. Like that's who
the
it
warehouse
is.
scene.
And so like if you get to see him fighting someone on the same level or better than him, like that would be.
Also because it was Ben Affleck's movie. Ben Affleck knows how to direct a movie.
So like if you like the Winter Soldier's choreography with like Bucky and Cap, like imagine Batman, Batfleck, and Deathstroke.
Yes.
That would be I might have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, so just a little bonus one. I want to throw that one in there, but yeah. All right, close this out.
I almost wish you left it off the list because I feel bad. I feel bad for going against Keaton, but anyway, well, thank y'all so much for watching this episode of the Gotham Graffiti podcast. We really appreciate your views. If you like short form content, we've been kind of putting out some YouTube shorts, and you can find us on our socials. So go check that out. But if you guys like to hang out, kind of be with us for a little bit, we're here every Thursday to Friday. Kind of depends on when we get it out. So yeah, we really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.